2626. That's 954-450-2626.
If an individual student athlete or team wins a high school state championship, it's an amazing thing.
And it goes in!
It's also just the icing on the cake. That's because young people in Florida who participate in education-based athletics are already winners. Studies show that win or lose, participation helps to impart skills they can use to enjoy greater success in other areas of their lives. School sports teach the benefits of teamwork, the value of self-motivation, and the importance of accountability. They also help to foster stronger work habits and higher levels of self-esteem. In other words, the true value of school sports can't be measured in terms of wins or losses. If an individual or team goes to state, it's an incredible accomplishment. But regardless of the outcome, today's student athletes are already destined to go far. School sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Talk 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Need to get some rest. This is the worst headache ever.
Right arm's all tingly all of a sudden. Must have slept on it last night.
I keep losing my balance. These old bones need some exercise.
Granddaddy, what you just said doesn't even make sense. It sounds like gibberish.
Signs like these could be more than what they seem. They could be a sign of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Sudden trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
I'm working 2 jobs, and my husband works too. My kids go to school with your kids. I sit next to you at PTA meetings. We live right next door. We've been neighbors for years. You know my family and me pretty well, but here's one thing you don't know. I'm 1 out of every 6 Americans, and my family is struggling with hunger. Like you, we believe in this country. What's hard to believe is in the land of milk and honey, how many hardworking Americans have to choose between paying bills and feeding their families. This is a problem with a solution. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 7 meals for those around you quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
AM 1470 WNN with more of what you need to know. Don't miss Barry's Supplement Hour. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 11 a.m. and Tuesdays at noon on South Florida's Health and Wealth Network. AM 1470 WNN.
Gallbladder problems, gingivitis, a bad back, indigestion, fatigue, low libido, not sleeping well, need to lose weight. Just some of the topics you'll hear about. Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Martin. Join me Sunday mornings at 10 on Talk 1470 WNN.
What you want to know. What you need to know. Talk 1470 WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Shub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show. I'm your host, Dan Shub, and tonight, like we usually do at this time, we're going to talk a bunch of golf, we're going to talk some travel, and we've got a great show tonight. I'm really excited. In just a minute or two, we're going to be chatting with an old friend of mine, professional table tennis player, expert on Bethpage Black, motivational exhibition expert, also known as Ping Pong Man. That would be Scott Price. A little bit later on, we'll be talking to Mike Antolini, and he is the Vice President of Championships for the Tiger Woods Foundation. They're the guys that are running this PGA tournament that's going on right now. The Quicken event is Tiger's the host, and the beneficiary of a lot of the funds there go to the Tiger Woods Foundation. They do all sorts of great work, and we're going to find out a little bit more about that in a few minutes. And later on in the show, we will be chatting with Tim Gavrich, and he is the managing editor of Golf Vacation Insider. And I'm curious to find out a little bit more about some of the places that he recommends, perhaps places that I've yet to go to, a couple of inside tips and some deals, and sounds like my kind of a guy. So it's a power-packed show tonight. We've got a lot of ground to cover. I got a few deals of my own up my sleeve, too, that we'll have a little bit later on in the show as well. And it's going to be a great show, so I'm truly looking forward to it, and as well as a chance to recount a little bit of my experiences from the past week. I spent a little bit of time playing at the Breakers, playing golf at the Breakers, staying on top of the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. And then from there, I was at Bethpage, playing Bethpage with our next guest. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take just a very, very short break, and then we will be back and talking a little bit about Bethpage Black. And we are back. And what we're going to do is as I had mentioned just a moment or two ago, old friend of mine, a guy who knows Bethpage State Park, Bethpage Black, played there as a kid, has a lot of tales to tell, and we're not going to talk too much about our experience on Bethpage Blue. I think it was Black and Blue. But an old friend of mine, professional table tennis player, puts on wonderful exhibitions, kind of known as the Clown Prince of table tennis, and ping pong man as well, and that would be none other than Scott Price. Scott, are you with us? Scott?
Are you there?
There you are. Now I hear you. Okay. Couldn't hear you. And you are, I hope you're out in Colorado, where you live?
Yeah, I made it home safely. What a week that was, and wasn't that fantastic to play Bethpage again after 40 years?
They say you can't go back, but I guess sometimes you can.
Well, we did.
We did. We certainly.
We were Black and Blue by the time we were done.
We were. And truly, you can't turn back the hands of time. I don't think we've got the same body, although yours is a heck of a lot better than mine. But it was nice to kind of relive the old days. We had a bunch of friends that we played with, a great foursome of golf, and I kind of was happy that we did play the Blue because the Black is an animal, right?
I don't think we were prepared for the Black. There's really no room for error on the Black course with the, I don't know how many traps, 400 or 500 traps on the course. And the Blue course was a tough enough test, I think.
Now, why don't you explain to the listeners just a little bit about your history and how far back you go playing at Bethpage State golf courses, the Black as well as some of the other ones?
Well, believe it or not, I was introduced to the Black course 50 years ago. My dad used to wake me at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we lived just around the corner from the Black course. So I used to walk up there as a kid, and also I used to play on the weekend with my dad. But it was famous for lining up in front of the clubhouse at 3 o'clock in the morning, which I believe they still do. And the line goes all the way out the door down the block. And I remember signing in at 3:30 for an 8 o'clock tee time. So that gives you an idea of what you had to go through to play the course.
Now, you have a bunch of history playing it in high school as well.
Yeah, in 1974, it's my only claim to fame. I played for the championship Long Island golf team. I was the sixth man on the team, and we won the Long Island championships. And my last round of golf playing for them was on the Black course. I think I shot 79. And to tell you how tough, I only reached 3 greens in regulation that day, but I was a good putter and chipper.
Now, in your infinite wisdom and your degree of comfort at Bethpage Black, you took a guy who's never played golf in his life, never swung a golf club even at a driving range, put some clubs in his hand, pushed him out to the first tee at Bethpage Black right in front of that sign that recommends that if you're not an accomplished golfer, you shouldn't be there. And that was me.
But then that made you a stronger person, didn't
it? I hope so. Maybe it is what made me who I am today, perhaps. And of course, I hit it about 40 feet straight to the right or left into the bushes or something, and the 20 or 30 people were just marveling at, I guess, the guts that I had to get up there and even do that.
Well, you know, since that time, it was $16 to play the black course when I played it last. And then, of course, the USGA came in, and then they redid the course. They made it longer. But the course setup is generally the same. There are some memorable holes on there. One of them comes to mind. I remember the yardage. It was 202, the 17th hole, par 3. And it always played in the wind, and it always played with the sun in your eyes when you got there at 18. So are we having the U.S. Open back to the black? Is that?
I believe like in 2020, and I think before that there's going to be a PGA Championship that might be played there as well.
Yeah, but it's quite a course. I know it's over $100 to play, but for a public course. But really, I think what makes Bethpage State Park unique among all other courses is the 5 championship courses that lead to one clubhouse. And I've never seen anything like that again since I left home.
Well, I was impressed with the conditioning of the golf course. I mean, it's hot in the summer up in New York, and I was kind of surprised that to this day it seems that they haven't outsourced the maintenance, that it's New York State workers, parks workers that are maintaining this golf complex, which to me, I just would have assumed that you would need experts to do it, but I guess they've become experts because they're doing a wonderful job.
Well, I think I believe they had a lot of moisture also in the past year, but I was very surprised at the condition of the course myself, and also the greens were pretty nice. It was definitely the talent putting the ball. It wasn't the greens.
Yeah, although on the blues, some of those greens were kind of small. It wasn't easy to stay on them for guys like us, But it's nice to have a different challenge. I mean, I play mostly in Florida, so it's extremely flat, and the grass is different, the humidity, the air is very thick, and of course you play often in the mountains where it's completely different too, but it's kind of nice to get out of your comfort zone and have an opportunity to play someplace that everything is just different.
Oh, yeah, what I really enjoyed was the elevated greens. We don't really have too many of them in Colorado. It's already elevated. One of the courses I play at is 8,500 feet, and that's a 2-club difference, which is good for the ego.
Yeah, to go any more of an elevation, the hole would be in the clouds probably.
Well, that's where our heads were that day on the blue course.
It may as well have been. It was certainly not easy. So where's your next round of golf going to be?
Well, I'm working on a few trips right now. I'm working on one in California in the Palm Desert, and then also I'm lucky enough to know somebody at Shadow Creek in Las Vegas, and I'm looking to try to set that up with my son for his 21st birthday to play Shadow Creek in Las Vegas.
Well, that would be special. I've not played it, but I've heard wonderful things about it. I'm heading up to Virginia. Of course, I'm going to the tournament this weekend in Virginia, and then I'm going to get a little golf in there too. So for me, again, a different place. It's kind of neat. So on the other side of your world, for table tennis, where's your next exhibition, and what do you got on the horizon?
Well, right now I'm waiting on a tour that might happen for a fundraising tour with some big sponsors out of New York. It was one of our friends that we ran into during the reunion time is putting together one. And also I'm preparing my son. He's heading back, Austin, my exhibition partner most of the time. He's been heading back to school to start his tournament tour.
Now, he had some great news recently as well, correct?
Yeah, he won the state games, the Colorado State Games. I played doubles with him and made it to the final, and we lost in the final, and I think that upset him to lose. So he went and beat an Indian player in the finals 3-0, and that was really great for his confidence coming up in the upcoming year.
And he's quite an accomplished golfer too, though, right?
I wanted to mention something
Sure.
that's been in my mind for a while. I wanted to tell the audience that I had to pull you out of the 4th hole trap at the black course on that day.
Yes.
It was about 98% humidity, and I remember that you kind of fell in there, and you had we called it tuberculosis day, and I had to pull you out of the trap.
Yeah, and carry me back. I think that was the end of the day for me. It was very difficult.
So back to table tennis, but my website is pingpongman.com. If anybody has any questions about ping pong or they want to be entertained, we do about 25 shows a year, and we just love what we do.
Yeah, I've obviously seen some of your shows. I've been pulled out of the crowd on an occasion or two, and it's quite an experience. And if you think you know how to play ping pong, you've never seen it at this level. It's a whole different world watching Scott play and put on shows, and the crowd really gets into it, and it's an uplifting experience for everybody of any age. So I do recommend it. So what was that website one more time, Scott?
Pingpongman.com.
All right. Well, what I am going to do is I'm going to take a look at my calendar and try and figure out where and when the next place that we're going to get to play, because we had way too much fun over there at Bethpage State Park.
Oh, it was great, Dan. Thanks for the time there, and please let me know when you're ready for the next round of golf. I'm going to go swing some, okay? I'm going to go hit some.
You got it. All right. I'll be talking to you soon. All right. Well, it's always great to catch up with old friends and talk about great places to play golf. And, when you have a reunion like we had for our high school, to be able to go out and play some golf on some of the golf courses that we remembered as a kid, it's just really special. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back with our next guest, and we'll be back with more of the Golf and Travel Show. So please stay tuned. And we are back. And time for a message from our sponsor, and that would be Labor Finders. And if your business needs industrial workers, or if you're looking for work, you need to call Labor Finders. Labor Finders places temporary or temporary to hire opportunities for skilled, semi-skilled, or general labor positions, such as plumbers, electricians, concrete workers, forklift operators, office clerical, and much more. Labor Finders has almost 200 offices nationwide. Near here in Boca Raton, as well as, near Boca Raton, they have offices in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and Jupiter. If you need legal, insured, hard workers, or if you want to work hard, call Labor Finders toll free at 800-864-7749. That's 800-864-7749, or visit laborfinders.com. And we are back, and that's some music I haven't heard in a long time, but I just thought it was appropriate, a little bit of the Tiger Rag. And that's because this weekend, I think it's just Tiger's time. He's the host of the PGA Tour Quicken Loans event, and the proceeds go to sponsor or to assist with his charities as well, the Tiger Woods Foundation, which does a tremendous amount of work for kids and education of kids. And I'm actually going to be heading up there on Sunday and check it out in person. I think it'll be real fun and real exciting. I typically don't travel to too many of the tour events, but this was one that I wanted to get to because it's just an interesting event. There's a lot to learn about it, and we're going to find out a little bit more about it from the guy who should know, because he's the guy who kind of runs it, and that would be Mike Antolini. He's the Vice President of Championships for the Tiger Woods Foundation. Mike, are you with us?
I sure am. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. And, I'm just really excited for you guys because you've got a great event going on. Your host is doing well, and there's excitement, there's a buzz, and I couldn't be happier for you. And I can't wait to get up there. But in the meantime, why don't you give us a little bit about what's been going on so far, what everybody has missed, people like myself who are at work, and I wasn't able to watch it all day.
Yeah, well, you just painted a great picture. There is a palpable excitement in the air. The weather has been beautiful. We're at R2J. For anyone who has tuned in these first two rounds knows that the site is absolutely stunning. The course has been fair, and the players have loved it. And there's been a lot of roars, and of course, Tiger making a run today and Ricky in the final group tomorrow on moving day really bodes well for a very exciting weekend for all.
Now, it looked to me like the greens were a little bit soft, so maybe you had some rain earlier because, I mean, they seem to be really sticking them, like darts right there at the pin.
Well, we had some rain. First of all, June was very wet. There was 12 inches of rain in June. And then we had some rain earlier in the week, a few showers. So actually yesterday we played Lift, Clean, and Place Preferred Lies, and it was soft. We dodged a bullet yesterday and missed the rain. And today it was just a Chamber of Commerce day from start to finish. And the course is definitely drying out a little. And look, there's been some low scores and some high scores and everything in between. So it's shaping up to be a fantastic test of golf, yet very exciting with the ability to go low. Jimmy Walker shot a 63 today. Tiger certainly had his fair share of birdies as well. So really not much to not like about how the Quicken Loans National is shaping up inside the ropes and outside as well.
Now, can you explain a little bit about the difference between having Tiger, in spite of the fact, obviously, we know he's had his troubles and, it's been difficult, he's had injuries, but the difference between him being able to play in any event, or in particular an event like yours that he's the host of, as opposed to not, and what that means to the event, to the crowds, to what the charity raises?
Well, he's certainly a major draw in the world of professional golf and sports. You have to be on site for about 10 seconds before you know where Tiger is, because you just see the crowds of people, or the first question that everyone asks when they get on site is, where's Tiger? So it's certainly when he's in the field, first off, the entire event is elevated. And then when he's playing well, that excitement that you mentioned and that I mentioned is really kicked up a number of notches, and it just makes for it certainly makes for a more compelling tournament. And there's some things that we can control and other things that we can't. But as far as Tiger hitting it well these first 2 days and being on the first page of the leaderboard is certainly something that we're very fortunate for. And again, I'll keep using the word. It's shaping up to be a very exciting weekend.
Now, I'm curious a little bit. I believe you run 3 different tournaments. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, serve as the tournament director for the Quicken Loans National, the Deutsche Bank Championship up at TPC Boston over Labor Day weekend, and then the Hero World Challenge, which is a foundation hosted or Tiger hosted event, limited field, 18 of the world's top players in Albany, the Bahamas, coming this December.
Now, I've run some charity events, and, oftentimes, people joke that as soon as the event is done, you start working on the next year. How is it possible for you to do that? I mean, you must have an incredible staff that helps you, I'm assuming. That's a big undertaking to run 3 tournaments.
That's right. We do have a great staff, and outside of the 3 PGA Tour events, we also run signature events, a golf and benefit concert called Tiger Jam in Vegas, and charity playoffs events all around the country. And so it's not just the tour events that we use as fundraisers to drive our mission, but you're right. We have a great staff. We have a dedicated team, an office up in Boston, an office on site here in the D.C. area, and then our headquarters out in Irvine, California. And it is a true team effort for all of our tournaments and events.
Now, when it comes to running your PGA events, I have to assume that, working with Tiger, that his schedule has been scaled back. He works towards the majors, and we all know that golfers are independent contractors. These days they can pick and choose where to play. How difficult is it for you to get the kinds of fields that you want to have?
Well, with the Quicken Loans National, we're very fortunate with Tiger serving as tournament host, and the fields have been great throughout the years, and we have an amazing defending champ in Justin Rose, who is back with us this year, and certainly Ricky Fowler teeing it up, and a newly sponsored golfer from Quicken Loans, our title sponsor, is really fortunate as well. So the field, and we're playing on great courses. We're at RTJ this year that hasn't hosted professional golf in 10 years. It's a place the players want to come to. And then, next year we're back at Congressional, the home of the Quicken Loans National. So these are courses that players want to play. And then, the Deutsche Bank Championship is the second leg of the PGA Tour FedEx Cup playoffs. So it features the top 100, not as much of a field concern there, since it is in the playoffs.
Right. Well, I don't know. I have a tremendous amount of respect for what you do. Like I say, just dabbling in running charity tournaments, I know how difficult it is. Now, why don't we talk a little bit about some of the other things that you guys do? For instance, I know that, not only are you raising money for the foundation and for the kids and for education, we could talk about that in a minute, but I know you're doing a lot for the military as well at the event. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. When the Quicken Loans National started in 2007, one of the main identities was to honor the brave men and women of our armed forces, and we've done that, and we'll continue to do that. We, with the support of our military sponsor, Lockheed Martin, give out 30,000 complimentary tickets to this tournament each year. There's a climate-controlled Lockheed Martin Military Appreciation Pavilion on the 15th green. We have a We Salute Our Heroes tribute wall where all week, doesn't matter who comes on site, you step up, you grab a Sharpie, and you sign the wall. And then at the end of the tournament, we frame the pieces of the signatures and send them out to military bases, just as a small way to let everybody know that we're using the tournament to appreciate our troops. We also have military announcers, key announcers, all four tournament rounds, which is a nice program. And then on the Pro-Am, on the 15th hole, we have military caddies. So the tour caddies take a rest for a hole, and the military caddies get to kind of walk alongside the players and help them navigate through the hole. And it's something that we're very fortunate to be, again, supported by Lockheed Martin. Quicken Loans is the nation's largest VA mortgage lender, and they have a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation for the military, and they're actually using this tournament to give back to the military. And on our 19th hole in one house, fans all week are actually hitting shots, an actual par 3 shot at the 19th hole at RTJ to raise money for the Military Warrior Support Foundation. So it's really a full 360-degree program that continues to be elevated each year, all for the military.
And now let's talk a little bit about the Tiger Woods Foundation. And like I said, briefly, I mentioned that they work with kids in education. Why don't you explain a little bit more detail exactly what you do for the kids?
Yeah, sure. So we have two programs. We have Tiger Woods Learning Centers, which are basically educational labs that focus on STEM education, and they see more than 10,000 students each year. They're based. Our flagship location is based in Anaheim, California. We have 3 Tiger Woods Learning Centers in the greater D.C. area in Ward 6 and 7, and then most recently at Marine Corps Base in Quantico, Virginia. And then we have satellite campuses in Philadelphia and also in Florida. And then we also have an Earlwood Scholarship Program. Very proud of the more than 100 Earlwood scholars and alumni who have come through the program. And what this is, more than 80% of our scholars are first-generation college students. And while we provide them with some tuition assistance, we more so help them. We help them land internships. We design workshops for them, and most importantly, we assign each scholar with a dedicated mentor that really helps them navigate through college. At one time, college was a distant impossibility, and we're now seeing a lot of the scholars come through and graduate college. We have a 100% scholar graduation rate. That is something that to us is very proud, because if you're in the educational, in the scholarship in the field, you know that's not that's an abnormality. So it's something we're very proud of.
If anybody would like to learn more about the charities and how perhaps they can help, is there a web address they can go to?
Absolutely. You can go to our website at tigerwoodsfoundation.org. So that has all links to our tournaments, our signature events, and of course our programs as well. So there's a lot to ingest when you go to our website, but it's all for a mission that we care about, and the tournaments, of course, are something that drives our mission, and we hope obviously everybody tunes